Nope, too far. Sorry. Good morning, beloveds. I had a busy night last night and I stayed up way too late. One, I'm going to go to the CSL convention. I bought my ticket for that last night. The convention ticket. I haven't bought the plane ticket, so still got to do that. But I bought the convention ticket. And then last night, my computer decided to talk to my phone decided to talk to my computer. So I probably downloaded, I don't want to think about how many thousand, but I downloaded all of the squirrel pictures to October. So, I also found, I got my Scarborough pictures off. I got my February NASA pictures off. Just all of these pictures are now off my phone. So I was like, yay! Because one of my idle games had an update and then another update, and my phone didn't argue with me about the updates. So I was like, I need to get more of the pictures off, just from the standpoint of, if I'm going to travel, I'm going to need the space on my phone for the travel app. But so yeah, I stayed up way too late, but that's okay. Because we have a short article today. Well, no, we have a reasonable length article, but the next article is a little bit longer. So I'm like, I don't want to do two fairly long ones. So we're just going to do one today. And now I'm trying to get Dante to come up to make a cameo, but he's just looking at me. Well, actually he's licking himself. Come on. No? Okay. So while I'm trying to entice the cat to make a cameo, here he is. There's my baby. Let's do the housekeeping. And all the housekeeping is me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email is info@creativelife.org. If you email that and get on the mailing list, you get one email a week, tells you what's going on for the week and the month. The hot links are hot, so it'll either take you right to the information or the person that can help you get it. And it is a blind CC, which means nobody will see your email. You won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. Now, I did say one email a week. I will point out we do live on the Gulf Coast, so occasionally weather happens. That would be, it's only if something unusual happens that you would get more than one. And usually it's weather related. So, and now he's going to go lay down. So you got your cameo. And I use that term cameo instead of cameo, because Bill, of blessed memory, when I first started doing these back in 2020, always enjoyed when my cats would pop up on screen. And that's what he called them. He called them cam meows. So, that's why I use that term. It's in honor of Bill Birch. Miss him. And his wife, Marty. So, okay. We are doing a new, you know what? I wasn't finished with the housekeeping. I should mention the social media. Merely from the standpoint of we don't monetize it. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So what we ask you to do instead is to go like, subscribe, and follow based on which platform you're on, and then engage with the individual post by reacting to the post, commenting on the post, sharing the posts. It bumps us in the algorithms. More people see our stuff, which is the goal of social media. And we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. And I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. Right? Right, baby? Mm-hmm. Yep. I do have a social media for my cats. It's called the House of Ryan Cats. I'm not on it very often anymore. Although I should be, because you can see how pretty they are. Well, yeah, all my cats are pretty. But Dante and Giovanni are particularly striking because they are snowshoe Siamese. Which they just crossed a Siamese with a tuxedo. So that they would get the white on their faces and the white feet. So, yeah. All right. Not that you need a lesson in cats. Okay. So, A New Design for Living was written towards the end of Ernest's career. And what I think it looks like to me is it's a process. It is the process of science of mind. One of the regrets that Ernest had, he had, I think, two regrets that I know about. One, he spent a little too much time talking about law and not enough time talking about love. And two, he does a lot of theory. And what he would say is theory's great, but if you don't go practice it, then what's the good in it? So I think that's kind of what A New Design for Living is this is how you can take the theory and create it into practice, into process. So that's what we are doing. Now we are in chapter 3, and we are reading, the chapter 3 is Don't Limit Yourself. And the particular one we're going to read today, the particular essay we're going to read today, is The Cornerstone of Freedom. In considering the new design for living we desire to create, we find that it is our own mind that we have the ways and means to build and build well. We find that it is in our own mind that we have the ways and means to build and build well. It is in our own minds. Okay. Not only do we find that in the process of thinking, we have the ability to think in any manner that we choose without limitation, but also there is no restriction on the creativity which is inherent in thought. We have here both the raw material of which our experience is created and the means by which it is created. Okay, I'm confused now. Okay. We have both the raw material of which our experience is created and the means by which it is created. The process by which the raw material, the content of thought, becomes experience is automatic, the operation of the law. We don't have to make one become the other, it just does. Okay. Okay. Of prime importance is what kind of raw material we are going to use. Okay, yep. What kind of raw material we are going to use. What are we going to think? We discover that we have to lift ourselves out of the mental ruts we have been traveling in to discover new raw material. Bigger, better ideas are needed. Ideas free from the limitations imposed by our past thinking, which certainly, in many respects, has been far from adequate in designing a completely satisfactory way of life. Okay? And as we proceed to do this, we always need to keep firmly in mind and never deviate from the basis of our endeavor. This is the basis. There is one mind, intelligence, spirit, or God, which is the source of all that exists, and this source is good. Okay? Yeah, no. And see, that sounds like the beginning of a treatment. You're not helping. You are not helping. Yeah. That highlighter just went all kinds of ways. Our own ignorance and lack of understanding are the only sources of our undesirable conditions and situations, and the only thing that need to be overcome. Okay. Our own ignorance and lack of understanding are the only sources of our undesirable conditions and situations, and the only things that need to be overcome. All right. Do bear in mind that we do understand we are in a relationship with a lot of other people and a lot of other institutions, cultures, things like that. We understand that, and we understand that all of that contributes to systems that are undesirable. Okay? So, but where do you start? This is where you have to start. You have to start doing your own work, because once you do your own work, you will make better choices, and then we can work on the systems. Okay? So yes, do not consider this blaming you for every undesirable situation in your life, because it's not. But this is where we have to start. Okay? It is through increasing wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that we may grow out of our ignorance and achieve a fuller life. It is often said that ignorance is the only sin and enlightenment is the only salvation. And I would err on I would fall on that argument, simply because ignorance is often a choice. You know, ignorance is a choice. You choose to remain ignorant of the facts around you. So, yeah. And in such a degree as we cooperate with and entertain good in our thought and action, the entire nature of the universe is for us and nothing is against us. In such a degree as we consciously or unconsciously associate our thought with other than good, we limit or defeat ourselves. We use the law in a negative manner. Hans Christian Ørsted, who discovered the relationship of electricity and magnetism, once said, "The universe is a manifestation of an infinite reason, and the laws of nature are the thoughts of God." Okay. Just as the thought of God is the creative agency of the universe and operates and functions through and as the law, so it is with our own thought. So it is that our own thought is the creative agency in our experience. To change our lives, we must start to think in a new way with new ideas. So I like the fact that he uses the idea of raw material. You know, if you want to make something out of gold, then you got to start with gold. If you want to make something out of silver, you got to start with silver. If you want to make something out of bronze, you got to start with bronze. Now, the interesting thing about bronze is actually a composite metal made up of other metals, copper being one of them. It may be copper and iron, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. My materials class was a really long time ago. But, you know, but gold is gold and silver is silver. So if you want to make stuff out, if you want your experiences to be gold or silver, then you got to start with gold or silver. Now you have a little more freedom if you want to use bronze. Then there's two other raw materials, but you have to go get those raw materials to make the bronze, to have those bronze experiences. I'm not saying one's better than the other, because I think they all have their place. But point being, if you want to have gold experiences, you got to have gold ideas. You want to have silver experiences, you got to have silver ideas. So up-level your raw materials and stop going back to the same toy box. You know, maybe pick a gem shop this time, you know, instead of like you've played with all the toys in your toy box. Let's go shop for some new toys, or let's go shop for some new tools. Let's go get raw materials that will give us different experiences and I say different because, you know, if you're not happy with what you're doing, you need better raw material. You need better ideas. And where do you go to get better ideas? And one of the things that I will tell you is one of my favorite sayings, and I got it from Jesse, and I forget who he got it from, is why do we go to the center on Sundays? Why do we go to a spiritual center at all? Because life is a puzzle. And we've got a lot of pieces. And we go to spiritual centers to get a look at the picture on the box. So, you know, you've got all of these pieces. And so, and that is where you can go to get ideas. But it isn't the only place, you know. Anywhere where you are surrounded by a group of people who are doing what you want to do, that is where you go to get raw material. Whatever it is you want to learn. I've been getting this ad on my newsfeed on social media for kintsugi. I think that's how you pronounce it. Where you take broken pottery and you fill you fill the cracks with gold. So yes, the bowl was broken, but now it is more beautiful. Okay? And now I'm back to gold. So gold experience. So that's what I'm saying is like, where can you go to get new raw material? Where can you go to get new ideas? Where can you go to get ideas beyond what you have been using up to this point? Honestly, that is part of the reason why I provide this every day. I do it as much for me as for you. Because I've gotten a whole lot out of doing this for 5 years. So I think it has helped me to grow in ways that I don't even know. So, all right. I'm going to wrap this up and move on into the process of my day. So I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, fantastic day, magical day, enchanted day, wonder-filled day, awesome day, amazing day, a you got this day, a don't limit yourself day, a hey, go find that cornerstone day, a, go get some new tools day, a what is it that you want day. The ideas are flowing from every direction day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a drink plenty of water day, a be aware of the weather day. We're going to get the thunderstorms tomorrow. So, I am out of ideas for the moment day, but I know that there are plenty coming day. So a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough. Just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. Okay, so explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. All right? Anything at all. All right, beloved.